Hey, couple of words today. I was out last night with doing my dad's in recovery thing at a treatment center, and the whole God thing came up because that's what in recovery that's the message, and I just want to say that when I talk about spirituality or God in recovery, I'm not trying to define the infinite. I'm simply using words. I'm using words to point towards something that can't be put into words. God, higher power, spirituality, consciousness, universal intelligence. These are all names for what can't be named. Bill used 16 different concepts in the big book. And because they can't, it's that and all of that and more. But because the mind needs language, right? We need to be able to describe it, to grasp an idea. We use these accepted terms. Help us move in the right direction. Actually, when I came home last night, I put this together. I thought about it and I thought, Jesus, how difficult it is sometimes because, we want to reject certain concepts and include others, or say yes to this concept or no to that concept. And however we get started in this journey, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter. The heart of recovery is this shift in focus from living as the center of the universe ourselves, self-centered, center of the universe, to recognizing that something far greater is happening, something far greater is at work. When we're trapped in ego, and I talk to men all the time about, being imprisoned, really, and I fancy myself a jailbreaker. My job is to help you get out, find the way out. When you're trapped in ego, everything revolves around you or me. When I'm trapped in ego, it's all about me, my fear, my control, my story, right? That self-centered way of living brings suffering. That's the deal. And that's often why we need to drink and use, because it's very uncomfortable, right? Our problem isn't drinking and using, it's living when we're living in the selfish, self-centered, fear-based way. And I've been there. We all have. The mind, when it runs unchecked, becomes a noisy storyteller, full of half-truths. The mind's full of bullshit, right? And we believe it. We're attached to it. Fears and old conditioning tell us we're separate, that we're unloved and alone. Some of it's very subtle. You can't even see it. It's just kind of running the show. It's the color of things, not good enough. And it doesn't matter where it came from, but it's from the mind, and we have to get to a place where we stop believing it. And when we begin to surrender and turn our will and our life over to the care of something greater, we step outside the narrow confinement of the walls of the mind. We discover that beyond fear, there's peace. Beyond judgment, there's compassion. And beyond control, there's freedom. That's what we want, peace, right? Compassion, freedom. Yeah, we want to stop judging ourselves and others, right? Start to see that what we thought was solid matter, including our own problems, is actually energy, consciousness appearing as form, right? We go deeper the more we realize that everything we see is part of the living presence. Even the delusion of who we think we are is part of this living presence. And even if we're in guilt and shame and grief, it's still part of it. It's just that we don't need to live there. We don't need to be there. We can be free. That realization, right? The realization that there's something more, there's a way to live free, doesn't come from the mind. It doesn't come from thinking. It comes from letting go of thought. In the breath, right? From moments of stillness, from prayer, right? From meditation, and even raw honesty in a meeting, and I've been with I work with men a lot, and sometimes we kind of allow ourselves to push, to do something physical, and we drop out of the mind. It's beautiful. And lots of times we've all been there, where I like to use the example of on a ski hill, the double black diamond run. You can't be in the mind. You've got to be free, and a lot of us love skiing or my motorcycle riding, because I have to be so present. I can't be thinking. I've got to be really on, right? And, the mind can't take us there. The mind quiets down and the truth reveals itself. A starry night. I love to be out with the dogs at night. It's beautiful. The journeys include moments in sacred ceremonies, right? Deep encounters with the medicine, with breath, stripped away the illusion of separateness. The enlightenment intensive that I've done several times with different people, but Trevor, my buddy Trevor, does it here, and it's just great. 2 or 3 days of this thing. It's called the Enlightenment Intensive. It's amazing because everything falls away, and you're there naked in a way, not literally, and free because you're like, oh my God, no pun intended, but oh my God, I also found that same stillness in the silence after a meeting. Walk with my dogs, like I just mentioned, laughter with my kids, loving my children. They're not my children, they're adults. It's not about the experience, it's about the presence behind the experience. Our work as men in recovery, and especially as fathers, is to keep pointing ourselves toward that presence. So we look towards what we call God, or universal intelligence. We keep focusing on that, or love. The names we give it don't really matter, but we're focusing on that, right? When we parent, when we make amends, when we forgive our own fathers. I don't know about that forgiving stuff. I look at my dad now, and it's not that he needed forgiving. I'm not sure, I put that in there, but it's more of loving. But I love my dad, it's like, wow, it doesn't matter what he did or didn't do. It really doesn't. We're learning to live not from fear or ego, but from love and awareness. That's the real spiritual awakening, not floating away into heaven, but coming fully alive here and now. Boom, be here now. Awakening to the sacredness of being human. So when I talk about God, I wrote this last night, I hope you like it. When I talk about God, I don't get hung up on the words. Don't get hung up on it. I'm talking about the unnameable, the consciousness that gives rise to all things. We use language to guide us toward it, but it's only when the language falls away that we find we've not been looking. It's only when the language falls away that we find what we've been looking for all along. Remember my teacher Paul Lowe used to say, you can't find it. You can't find it by looking for it. But you won't find it if you don't look for it. Do you remember when he used to say that? If any of my old Paul Lowe friends are ever see this. Remember Paul used to say, can't find it by looking for it. And that's where the freedom lives, beyond the limits of the mind. So recognize that we are not our mind. Okay? Our mind is a tool. What we are is beyond the mind. Love you guys. Hope that's something. Okay, cheers.